I've been on my grind just to live it out. Say what's on your mind just to hear it loud. Everybody knows me, really that's the old me. Going through some changes right here and now. I've been on my grind just to live it out. Say what's on your mind just to hear it loud. Everybody knows me, really that's the old me. Going through some changes right here and now.
Welcome back to another episode of Dope Individuals Only. We got another dope individual up here. Please introduce yourself.
Man, I'm the artist formerly known as Joe Irizarry.
Okay.
Born and raised in Allentown. Illustrator, painter, self-proclaimed philosopher, all that good stuff.
I like it. Self-proclaimed philosopher. I like that.
Self-proclaimed because a lot of my theories, they don't necessarily come from a source. They come from self, but I come from the source, so you go figure.
Yeah. Hey, man, I like it. So I met Joe here. One day I was strolling down. I went to the art museum, and we met a chick, and she was actually out there too selling her own art. And she was like, "Yo, you should come down on Thursdays. We got a bunch of independent local artists, and they showcase their work. And you know what I mean? It's real dope to see what the art scene is like."
You say you met someone at the art museum?
Yeah, female.
What was her name?
Was
she short?
Yeah, short.
Chubby?
Yeah, kind of not fat, but you know.
Yeah, you probably met my daughter's mom.
Oh, okay.
Small world.
Small world.
Man.
I was just about to say that. Real small world.
Small world.
But she invited us out, and then we ended up running into her. And I turned the corner, and I see this dude sitting by himself, real incognito, with the face shield on, and he's painting.
Now, just real quick, why do you think someone like that is by himself? I'm asking you a question before you start asking me the question.
The world could feel lonely.
Nah, I mean, yeah, no doubt. But the same people that invited you to that party didn't want me at that party. Let's just say that.
Okay.
And that's the problem with curators. It's a lot of monkey see, monkey do. It's no real support of the actual artists that are setting trends and putting in the work to create these things. It's if you can fit in the party, we'll invite you. But if you don't fit, don't even bother showing up, kind of thing.
That's what you feel like the art scene is like?
So I showed up to pretty much do my thing. And right before I saw you guys, they tried kicking me out of there, man. Shout out to Brandon Wonder. He wanted to kick me out of there, man. But
I remember you telling me, and I had just come down from behind the courthouse, and I was letting you know what I saw up there.
I gotta be careful what I say on this podcast, man.
You ain't gotta be careful. You ain't gotta be careful with nothing. If you want to take that stance, that's fine. But listen, we up here to have conversations. We up here to debate. We up here.
Yeah. Before we dive into me, I just want to say this, like to any artist that see this, 9 times out of 10, you already know who I am. If you don't know my face, you definitely know my work. Just protect yourselves out here, man. The curator's job is to set up a show that can make them money. It's not about making the artist money. So someone that's 4 solo shows in, over 50 group shows in, I'm telling you, an artist does not need a gallery. The gallery needs an artist.
Facts.
And I'm going to leave it with that. Shout out to Brandon Wonder again.
It's funny that you say that. There was one time, right, where I used to rap, and I was trying to get dude to send me a beat. And I was just like, yo, without my lyrics on it, you know what I mean? There is no music. And he said, you tell me something. He said, when the last time you ever heard somebody sell an album with just a cappella on it, the entire album? He said, yeah, the lyrics are important. It helps add to the song. He said, but the music's the music. The music don't change.
True.
He said, I could sell an instrumental tape with no problem. I don't need you. You need me, just like you said.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The art is the art, you know, and the curators need us in order to. So
I would kind of relate, like, in the 2 instances, I kind of will bring it together, like, the lyricist would be me, right? Like the painter. But essentially, the producer would be another painter as well. What I'm talking about is I'm at war with the record label or the people that are the distribution companies, okay? It takes a team to make the work, no doubt.
Right.
One painter isn't going to get he can't do it himself. He needs a team.
Facts.
You know, I need art dealers. I need event planners and things of the such. But I don't need a curator to put a value on my stuff, and I damn sure don't need a curator to tell me when my stuff isn't good enough anymore. So what you saying is a great analogy, except that I'm not at war with the producers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at war with, like I told you, the ones that are in charge of putting the music, the art out there.
Right.
You know? So
okay.
And it's just funny how I didn't know what you were doing over there. I thought you were just checking out there. I didn't know you were actually directed, you know, or I can't say directed, but invited out, you know. But it's just funny. I immediately just automatically knew who you were talking about, what you were talking about, because it's a lot of conspiracy around the man you have with you today, man. It's a lot of conspiracy around me.
well, let's get a little bit into it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You told the people who you are. You know what I mean? But what is it? What is it about the? You know what I mean? You got the shades on. You got the hat on.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I wasn't always like this, man. And we can be real. I told you I was gonna wear a mask on the show.
Yeah. That's how I met him, and I was like, you know,
yeah.
When you come out, he's like, I'm gonna wear the mask. He's basically saying, I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna show you who I am. But once the camera goes on, I'm gonna throw the mask on.
Well, number one, I'm real careful on, like, I don't want to come in your house in your place and disrespect you, but not showing my face or my eyes.
I respect that. Thank you.
I'm just scared of letting people in now. Some of the artists that you have ran into, the majority of them own my work, have been inspired by my work, or want my work. And I learned that a lot of them I let touch me, a lot of them I let speak to me, a lot of them I let look me dead in my face, in my eyes, and I lost something. So I'm real careful about how many windows that I let open. I know I came here with my mouth open today, pause. So I wanted to guard and protect my ears and my eyes best as possible, because I'm actually gonna allow myself to surface in the next 40 to 60 minutes.
That's dope, man. That's what this is all about, bro. Yeah. It's people getting to see you for you and not what other people are telling them. And whatever notions we get to drum up ourselves. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's very important. That's the whole preface of this, is to give people that platform. You know what I mean? So use me to speak. You know what I'm saying? We had a pretty, it was a basic conversation, but you was letting me know that you was coming up here to fuck shit up. He's coming up here to fuck shit up.
That's kind of my reputation, man. And it's sad. Like, I got this bad guy tattooed on my hand, and a lot of times people see it and they're like, "Oh, cool tattoo," but this isn't a tattoo to me. It's a mark of shame. I had a period in my life where I was rightfully so this label here. So I'm kind of like stuck or trapped behind this wall of reputation and stigmatism, I guess you could say.
Do you care about that stigma and that reputation?
I do, because I know what it's like to be in the public eye. I know what it's like to be in a room full of people watching you do your thing, and they can feel love coming from your craft rather than evil or malice. You understand?
So why shame? Why is that what you feel?
Because I've hurt people. I've hurt people mentally, physically, emotionally, and I understand that I'll be in debt for the rest of my life trying to make amends with people that had to experience a version of myself that wasn't even fully me. It was all I had at the time. You feel what I'm saying? So, and it's like
I do.
And it's like you think about children, or you think about anything that you're raising or you're grooming, right?
Okay.
If you don't groom it the right way, chances are it's going to turn out the wrong way. So I'm someone that's having to break generational curses. I'm someone that's having to break barriers. I'm having to break through generational low self-esteem that's been passed down from father to son in my family. So back to the mark of shame and the dark facade, I'm hiding behind something so that, you know, it's easy to see the light once you're engulfed in darkness. You understand? Right. So they see me in my exterior as like, oh, he's rough, he's this, he's that. And in my past, he's a brute, he's a madman, he's this, he's that. But that's really not me. So I kind of hide behind. I let the persona disappear so that the real can shine through, if that makes sense. Hopefully it makes a little sense.
It does, but for me personally, you know, it feels like I'm only getting a piece.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For sure. The exterior, the past, it all culminates to the man that I'm sitting next to today.
True.
And you know what I'm saying? I don't know what your life experiences is like. You know what I'm saying? But when we met, you taught me how to draw. You taught me how to paint clouds. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
that's my first impression. I sat there. You could have said, nigga, you see I'm working. Back the fuck up. Give me my space. You could have easily pulled one of those on me, but you showed me how to make clouds. You showed me how to blend colors all in a 5-minute exchange.
Because, because I've learned. I wasn't always this way, but I've learned it's about love, bro. It's not about being the best painter in the city. Of course. that's what's always driven me, and I think that's what's kind of led these curators and these the powers that be label me as hard to work with or old news or damaged goods rather, because I had to learn that it's not about competing all the time, it's about completing. And what I mean by that is I don't want to sit in a room with 10 other artists and have to worry about my red being deeper than theirs or my blues being more emotional than theirs. I want to sit in a room and be inspired by artists. And you can only be inspired if you're willing to inspire. So that day when I met you, I was already dealing with my anxieties of being out there surrounded by wolves and people that really wanted to kill me. Maybe not literally, but spiritually, those people out there wanted to kill me. These same people that invited you to come out didn't expect to see Joey Irizarry there and didn't want Joey Irizarry there. So I had to learn to inspire even when I didn't feel inspired, because that's where the true blessing comes from. That's where the true artist shines, is when he's able to share his gift, not keep it to himself. And I think my biggest problem over the years is I wanted to keep it to myself. I wanted to be better than everyone else. I mean,
the ego's a big thing. The ego's a big thing, and it can block all types of things.
My ego was big, like big, man, like bigger than this house.
The ego's weird though, because just as the ego can block your blessings, the ego's also there to protect you.
For sure. I mean, you couldn't tell me Michael Jordan didn't have an ego and Michael Jordan wasn't angry.
Fuck yeah, you don't get to be the greatest at whatever you do without having an ego. Muhammad Ali, ego. It don't matter who. Greatness comes with egos, but
my thing was, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. This is your show.
My thing was, appreciate that. My thing was, my ego went from a mask to protect myself, or like, what did Kanye say? I use my arrogance as esteem to power my dreams. My arrogance and my ego definitely put me in positions that a lot of artists aren't going to get to. There aren't many artists from 4th and Washington Street, from 2nd Street, the areas that I come from, that have had their name on walls where, excuse my language, where these crackers are coming to spend money on a bunch of shit that I scribbled, okay? I know I'm very fortunate. Even with my master or my mentor, I can't call him my master no more because I'm better than him. That's the assumption I got.
And that's the goal too.
And he raised me to be very competitive, but that same man had a stroke and could no longer push his pencil or even speak to me anymore. And one of the last things he said to me was, "Yo, I taught you wrong." And I think he was saying to me, like, he was letting me know art is about sharing, not declaring.
Right.
You understand? So I haven't shared a lot of my work, but I've declared a lot of war, and I'm reaping what I sow. now.
So, what is it today? Like, are you trying to get out of that jacket that you had to wear for so long? Is it you trying to find a way to get out of that jacket?
Keeping it just all the way real with you, I've already made it out of the jacket.
Okay.
It's just I haven't exactly come up with a way to be good in public. Like it's like almost they know or they assume what's showing up. So I'm at the point where I have no energy to convince anyone of anything anymore. I just kind of just adapted, and I show up exactly what you think I am until you ask me a question, and then you realize, oh wait, this
is the same dude that helped me out with clouds. Yo, that's at the end of the day, that's what that's all it is.
It's not just clouds, man. I've taught and I've showed a lot of people how to do a lot of things.
Shit, for me it was just clouds,
and
but
I say that to be humble.
Right.
But it's like Roy Jones had a track out when I was a kid, and it was y'all must have forgot.
Okay.
I must have forgot. And that day when you pulled up on me and I was painting, bro, I was in my element. I use different colors now. I paint things that I think are beautiful compared to this type of stuff that I used to make, which was crude and a lot of anger and a lot of just miscalculated rage. So these days I let the art speak, and I try not to talk at all.
Although it was uncalculated rage and anger, do you think it was essential to get you here?
Definitely. Let's backtrack. When I first made my break onto the local scene, I was painting like someone else. And just to piggyback on something I heard you say in your the last episode, you talked about spirit guides and things like that. I related to that because I thought I was crazy, right? When I imagined these dead artists coming to me, telling me, yo, you have to pick up where I left off. So the first artist to come to me was Jean-Michel Basquiat. No joke. Came to me about 2013. I got a funny
story about this.
Came to me about 2013, and I was sitting with a at the time a girlfriend, a friend of mine. Shout out to Jackie.
Big shout out to Jackie.
Jackie put me on to this documentary on Netflix called The Radiant Child. I started watching it and I went crazy. Started posting about it. You find something, you want to post all about it.
Right.
My dad would hit me like, yo, nigga, you late. And I'm saying to myself, I'm mad at him like, motherfucker, you could have put me on a long time ago. We could have been bonding over this show. Right. I'm not late. You just didn't steer me right.
Right. You
shout out to my dad, though. I love my dad. Don't get it twisted. Pops do the best he can. But so anyway, I discovered this artist, and I was painting like that. And I came up with a series called the Same Old Joe series. To this day, that's probably my most prolific series, and that's the series that my curator's asking about all the time. I had about 50 to 60 paintings lost.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Shout out to Brianna Bradley. She knows what happened to that work. It was destroyed, and I was never able to come up with a series to top that. Over the last going on 10 years now, I've been trying to come up with a series to top that.
Maybe the moment you stop is the moment you will.
But what happens is I get visited by other artists and other entities that let me know you don't have to paint like them. We're just inspiring you with their story. Mm-hmm. We're sending you these artists to understand that they started with nothing, just like you, and they were nobody, just like you. They were just gifted, and they listened to us, and they decided to do what they had to do with their time here. So I stopped trying to be these dead artists, and instead equip myself with what I learned from them and move on. And it's like the minute that I decided to paint like Joe Irizarry, no one wanted to work anymore.
Hey.
No one wanted to work anymore. But I understand because, back to me, and pause before I say this, me coming out of the closet, me coming out of my hiding, right? I understand that my audience hasn't even been born yet. So the work that I'm creating, I'm going to be long gone before anyone even thinks about the work that I made. But it's because I'm speaking for generations that are coming.
Right.
My work represents my religion. And when I say religion, I don't mean anything man-made. My art and my artistry is a direct representation of my spirituality and what I believe to be true about planet Earth. And what I believe to be true is that there's gonna be a lot of noise, a lot of paintings, but are we gonna focus on the work or the worker? Are we gonna focus on the life of the artist and everything that artist has been through, all the pain and all the torment that this artist is responsible for, and all the pain and torment that this artist is trying to live and survive through? Are we going to focus on all that and judge his work, or are we going to try to get through and build a relationship with that artist or that painter to understand and to really figure out what's going on? So me diving deep into myself, trying to understand who I am, brought me closer to God. I don't look to the skies. I don't look to a book. I don't look to a painting for God anymore. I look to myself. Within. But I understand that there's a lot of things I have to bring from the outside inside to unlock the doors. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah. I like that. And it's dope that you took something that you thought you were going crazy for and you used that. Mm-hmm. And you say, you know, you lost your best work. You haven't been able to top it, whatever the case may be.
I lost more than just work, man. I lost so much, bro. Like, I lost more than just art. I lost pieces of me that I'm never gonna get back.
Why do you consider it a loss?
Because I don't have them anymore. And it's like you could lose your favorite toy, and physically it's not there anymore, but the memory of that toy is always going to be with you. So the memory of that work is always going to live forever, you know. But the physical work itself and everything that I put into that work and the times, like all the events that led up to those pieces being finished, they'll never, ever be spoken about again. And that they're lost because I can't show them to you. You know what I mean? Pieces of me that I can't dig up in me because they're literally gone with that energy of that work.
What if that work is gone because all that work was supposed to do was to represent to you of your capabilities? That's how I like to think of it.
If that's the case,
you got some shit in store.
For sure. and I have to reword it. It's more like a lesson than a loss if that's the case. You know what I mean? I just miss it.
No, I understand.
And I honestly miss the artist that I was creating that work. There was a joy. Even though I wasn't necessarily sober at all making the work, there was still a joy that I had a joy in painting. I felt a joy of making that work that I'm probably never gonna feel again.
It's funny that you mentioned, you know what I mean, the joy of doing what you're doing. Mm-hmm. I smoke weed, you know what I mean?
Shout out to Ethos.
That's where I got my last weed bed from too. But I fucking, so when I'm high, I'm typically on a video game, you know what I mean? And I was feeling stressed as fuck this past week playing. Mm-hmm. And I just got this, it's like this voice inside. It was like, if you're not having fun, what's the point? If you're not having fun, what's the point? Mm-hmm. And, you know, I hear what you say. You're not sober while you creating, but it was the journey of the creation that was life changing. You know what I mean? And ultimately, it sounds like you got what you needed to get from it. At least from my perspective.
For sure. Like, listen, bro. I never thought I would have a room full of people eating crackers and cheese, drinking wine, asking me, a nigga from Center City, Allentown, okay? Excuse my language, but they gave me the labels here. I never expected to be in a room with people praising my work asking me what was on my mind, comparing me to masters. Like, I've had people compare me to masters, man. And I couldn't even tell you where the pieces come from, you know? To this day, I make work that I'm very, very proud of. I'm finally able to finish work. It's been like good 3 years I've been able to actually finish paintings without destroying them. So that time period has definitely opened me up to a community of people that really, really love art. You know what I mean?
Right.
And essentially do care about the person that's making the art. A friend of mine, she says, I think about, I worry about what people think too much. And it's the truth.
Speaking of you?
Yeah, she speaks of me that way. She says that I worry about what other people think too much.
Sounds like me.
And I do. But part of my job as an artist to make work that people like. Okay, because I do want to make a living off of my art. I do want to make a living off of me, off of what I bring to the table. You know? So essentially you do want people to like your work, man. When it comes to a point where you have to ask yourself, all right, none of these men or women gave you the power to create, so you're not creating for them. And hundreds of thousands of people that have seen my work, majority of them feel what they should feel from the work, which is number one, which is God, which is love, and which is forgiveness. Those are the main three components in my work. So those time periods exposed me to the money, which was dope. All right, but when you're still an artist that's not happy with what you're bringing to the world, the money doesn't really mean shit.
You can't buy the happiness.
You know what I mean? And I found I only create work to open up a dialogue or open up a conversation about what I believe God is. So I'm thankful for that period, that work I lost, and that period that's gone, because I got to see who I am when the spotlight's on me. I don't like that man. I don't like who I am when the spotlight is on me. I like to be the guy in the back that's responsible for the reasons that the lights are on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, why people even showed up tonight.
Right.
But that's the extent of it.
Right. I don't really want to be on the microphone and the camera anymore. I want to be in the back, head low, doing my work, and knowing that God is happy with the work that I'm creating, whether or not it's sold, or whether it's sold or not. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So I got a question for you. Do you still make the work for others, or do you for their enjoyment, or do you make the work for you?
My commissions are closed. I gotta be careful how I say this. Niggas ruin that for everybody.
What you mean the commissions are closed?
My commissions are closed, meaning I won't create art for anybody anymore.
Okay.
And as far as I know, they're closed indefinitely. I probably won't open up my commission list ever again to the public. Because number one, if I wanted to get paid pennies, I'd go get a job. Number two, if I wanted my work to be depreciated, I would sell to white folks only. And number three, if you niggas never ask questions about those Gucci belts you buy, and you never asked that white man about the price of those Jordans or the price of those fucking Pradas or whatever
Don't
goofy
fucking
shit.
ask me how much it costs.
Right. If you niggas ain't gonna ask these Europeans about why they're charging you what your rent twice for a pair of jeans, don't ask me about why my commission rate is so high.
Right.
My commission rate is so high because I'm stopping my legacy to create something for you. So I have to take at least a good 2 hours just to think about what you want, another 2 to 3 hours to pencil what you want, another 2-3 hours to ink what you want, and another 3 to 4 hours to color what you want.
I got one better for you.
Go for it.
The price is the fucking price.
The price is the price. But you see,
it's worth it too.
I try to think about the labor and how much love I'm putting into the piece. If you want me to put a piece where I don't have to love it, bro, I'll slap you something together for $100 and call it a day. But if I have to sit here and love the piece because it's something that you're in love with and you want to love the piece when I'm finished with it, bro, you're not just paying for my work. You're paying for my energy. You're paying for shit that I'm never ever gonna get back.
Talk that shit.
You know, so I'm really not the white or black type of person. I'm really not. You know, they want me pro black, but I'm more Kodak black. All right.
Kodak black.
Shout out to Kendrick. That's a Kendrick line. But like, I've never met anyone from the lighter side of the demographic ask me about a price of anything. If they like my work, they pay the price.
Yep.
It's always the people that look like me that want to talk me down. And I never understood that because how am I supposed to get ahead if I'm taking pennies to put you in a position to make all the money I should have made?
Right.
Meaning I've done work where people, where they come to me and they get a little $100 commission, and that's a product that they're making $20 to $40 to $50 a piece every time they reproduce it. So once I seen that, I started to understand I'm more important to your brand than you are.
I'm the creator.
I made your brand possible, and don't get it twisted, bro. I don't just go on Google and YouTube some fonts. I don't go and grab vectors that umpteen other thousand creators can grab and make work with. No, you get everything original from me, and I wanted to take the opportunity to come on here and say, yo, fuck your commissions, man. Fuck your projects. Fuck everything you got going on.
I like that.
If you don't want the person that's making it, if you don't want that person to eat, then fuck your shit. Fuck your shit. There isn't one brand in the Valley that hasn't tried to hire me. There isn't one tattoo clique in this Valley that has not tried to hire me. There's not one. So if you motherfuckers are coming, you're literally typing my name, because everyone knows my name. There's not one creator in the town that doesn't know who Joe Irizarry is. Unless you just haven't met Joe Irizarry. It means you're probably a decade younger than me or something like that. But the majority of people...
Damn, how old are you? Because we just met. I'm 27.
I got some time on you.
Okay.
Got some time on you. Nothing crazy. I'm not like a decade over you.
Yeah.
But
you don't look like you're a decade
over.
But
I'm believe it or not, man, I'm hundreds of thousands of years old, man. I'm trying to leave this place. So I believe that this vessel, this guy here, is going to be the one that allows my soul to leave and never come back. I'm trying to get it right. Allah knows best. But yeah, back to my little rant, man. Fuck your projects, man. Now, if you have a project that you know and you know deep in your heart that, hey, an artist is very, very important and I need him, my commissions are open. But other than that, man, if I can't pay my rent or feed my children with what I have to do for you,
it's not worth it.
It's not, because what I have going on, the work that I am able to create and the work that I am fulfilling is going to be passed down and handed to my children so that they can reap the benefits of it. You know, like, yo, people go crazy over Vincent Van Gogh's work. You know who Vincent Van Gogh is?
I know who Van Gogh is.
You know who Vincent Van Gogh is because he's dead and the world is labeled his work what it is.
Yeah.
But Vincent Van Gogh started painting at 27 years old, killed himself by 37 years old. Okay? Mm-hmm. So he's only painted for 10 years of his life. Mm-hmm. And the man only sold one painting while he was alive. Wow. And I think it was for like 16 francs. Don't quote me, but it's an equivalent to like $250. Today it will be like $250. Van Gogh cut off his ear, handed it to a prostitute. She didn't want to love him. So he went off into a field and he shot himself and he died. Now, this is my favorite artist of all time.
I was gonna say that's a horrible fucking story.
That's the artist that I relate to the most. I say all that to say this is Vincent Van Gogh, who only sold one painting the whole time he was alive. He dies. I believe his most expensive painting sold for $119 million.
Holy shit.
So understand that like the majority of humans on this light in this world, 7-8 billion people on planet Earth today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Only 144,000 going to heaven. It's written. That's written in your books, right? So out of all the people that God actually make, He's only allowing a fraction to come home. To anyone out here that has a power to create, that's you. So if you're not creating, if you're not using your gift, you're gonna go to the hellfire and come back to this place with the rest of these cocksuckers. My thing is, I'm making work for the generations that are coming,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't really care about decorating your pretty walls anymore, man. That shit's dead. Shit is dead. I don't want to hear your rap tracks about about your money. I don't even want to see women with makeup on anymore.
I hate makeup.
I love makeup. I love makeup because it's an art. And I think that some women have the power to make less fortunate women feel beautiful. So that is a plus. But I'm talking about, like,
it's a valid point.
like, I'm talking about, like, let's stop dancing for fucking cameras, man, and let's really be what we say we are. Stop taking off your clothes to get likes. If your art was trash when you had your clothes on, baby girl, don't take them off because your art's still trash. So what's the point of doing that? If you weren't packing the punch, you weren't saying anything worth listening to in your bars before, don't pick up a Kendrick album and start wanting to be that. Be yourself, because when the facade is over and you're left with just you,
you gotta look yourself in the fucking mirror. And you gotta be honest.
Yeah, and don't be someone that was sold. Sell your shit yourself, man. So what I bring to you today was cultivated by self, was inspired and handed down by the powers that be. I'm a believer in God, but what I do with what He's given me is up to me. And this is my first step into letting the community know that I'm not dead. I'm not in jail. I'm quiet, but you still can't fuck with me. So your best bet is just to join me and hear me out, because if you ever have to go against me, it's not gonna be pretty, man. I'm challenging churches. I'm challenging churches to go 6 months, do 6 months of services without asking for tithes in the beginning of the service. I'm challenging churches to stand on what you're pushing to the people. If you believe God is going to provide, stop asking poor people for money. All right? I'm challenging artists to stop pretending like we all get along. I'm challenging you artists to declare war on your peers and to step out of the fucking shadows, to talk your shit, and to put the art where your mouth is. Stop hiding behind cliques. Stop using so-and-so's name to be a part of certain factions and organizations. Stop that shit. Stop that shit. This is a challenge to individuals around me to be fucking individual. If you can't be individual, just get the fuck out my way.
Be dope individuals. Be
Be
the dope
dope
individuals
individuals
that you are.
Right.
I like it. I like it. I've been sitting up here just letting you go because, listen, man, that's always the message I preach. You know, I did a whole lot of shit in my life that I didn't want to do a lot of the time, trying to appease the people. And the only thing that shit brought me was a hard time looking in the mirror and being okay with what I saw in the morning and at night.
Right,
you know what I
right.
mean? So I like that the fact that you coming up here and you letting them know, like, listen, I did that shit, and understand that it's a hard place to come from, and it's definitely hard to get out too.
Yeah, man.
know?
I mean, and I look around at what's my biggest beef right now is with pastors and
That
with
sounds
curators.
funny as hell. I'm sorry, but that shit sound funny as hell. My biggest beef is with pastors.
My biggest beef is with pastors, not with religion. Religion is beautiful when it's
used right.
I hate saying used, when it's exercised correctly.
Okay.
Because when you use religion, you're
That's how you
normally
get to
trying to
where we at.
hurt people,
That's-
right?
that's how
you
we
know
get
what
to
I
where we're
mean?
at.
Like Nat Turner said, he woke up one morning in February and Jesus told him to free his people. Okay? This is Nat Turner who woke up enslaved massa, slayed his slave owners, and tried to free his brothers and sisters. He said he woke up from a dream where Jesus told him to do so. I believe and I follow in a Jesus that isn't traditional.
Mm-hmm.
My Jesus is green and has a third eye. Okay? And he goes Super Saiyan when he's angry. That's my version of Jesus. I don't necessarily normally speak on my views, but my view with Jesus is a baby is born in life.
Mm-hmm.
That baby he didn't watch his mom and his dad in bed, so he has no idea what sexual sin is at all, period. So this baby, essentially all of us were immaculate conceptions, okay? Essentially. We don't learn about how we were made until we're fornicating later in life, right?
Right.
A baby is born, he's wowing people. And this is just any child. Think about your children at the age they are now. They wow people with their insights and their intellect and their ideas. They wow people with their purpose. They're only sent here at that time or at that age to put smiles on people's faces, to be honest. Think about how children are.
Right.
They're like animals at that point. They don't
in its purest form.
They don't and they don't think about what they're doing. They just do what they're put here to do.
Right.
The child gets a little older and is faced with temptation or choice. Some children bow down to the darker side on the top of that mountain. Other people rebuke that energy and they say, nah, thou shalt not tempt the Lord, that whatever. But what they're really saying is, I know what I'm supposed to do here, and I'm not going to let anything distract me. Right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a regular child. I'm not even talking about the Messiah. I'm talking about a regular child still.
Right.
They're born. They don't know how they got here. They're closer to their mother because they came out of their mother, and they're literally feeding and eating off their mother. This man here that they say is my father, y'all telling me it's my dad, but I really have more of a connection to the spiritual creation than I do this physical representation of what a father's supposed to be. So I don't necessarily, I'm going to honor that more. I'm going to honor my mother more than I honor the father, this father, right? The kid gets a little older, is faced with temptation, decides to choose a higher version of himself. He goes on, finds purpose, goes on spreading that love. Some people are going to hate that person. Some people are going to love that person. And ultimately, everybody dies, whether it's a murder scene or it's
sleeping in your bed.
It's right. So back to my religion and my deity, my Lord, I relate to Jesus because I'm human. And the life of Jesus represents nothing more to me than the cycles that a human is going to go through.
Mm-hmm.
Birth, wondering how he got here. There's a huge gap from when Jesus was a child up until he's on that mountain being tempted by the devil. He'd had a conversation with himself. These are my personal beliefs. This is just what I think.
Yeah, talk your shit.
They worded like he was carried up to a mountain by the devil and tempted by Satan. Bow down and I'll give you everything. Bow down to me, I'll give you everything you can see. That sounds like a man that's being faced with a lesser side of him, a flesh, and a higher being within him, right?
Mm-hmm.
To me, there is no Jesus versus the devil. There's just man versus himself. So my religion, I say I'm Christian because I follow Jesus Christ. But the crazy part is he's not my God at all. And I don't even like saying Christ because, number one, I don't really know what that means, Christ part. Mm-hmm. And number two, it's just too ritualistic for me. I don't think it's a coincidence that Vlad the Impaler and the idea of this deity of Jesus they gave us were coincidentally look exactly the same. Okay?
You think Jesus was well? You said he got 3 eyes.
I think Jesus looked exactly like I did because of where the sun was, where in that and this the people,
region.
Yeah, that, you know what I mean, and this the geographical information that's been given to me. I believe Jesus looked like me, if anything. But I try to get off of the whole physical attributes because it was a woman that came to me in my life and was my walking, talking, like she was Jesus to me.
Right.
Okay. I never had. My grandmother was the first version of that where I feel like, damn, Jesus could be anybody because this Baptist woman that raised me teaches me more about love and life than any religious book ever has. To me, grandma was Jesus until I met the person that will remain nameless for for this conversation. she brought to me everything that I thought Jesus represented in a physical form. Mm-hmm. So I started to understand that, damn, that white man in that picture ain't Jesus. We're all Jesus.
They say we're just mirrors of him, the source. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they say that he created us in his image. Which is dope. You know what I mean? And I totally believe that.
And you can find it in people.
Yeah, and just to like to simplify what I'm trying to say. My religion, I worship the painter, not the painting. I can't give more love and more honor to Jesus and discredit everything Moses did. Discredit everything Samson meant to me. Discredit everything that the lessons in the life that Job went through was meant to the life of a person. So the Bible, they say it was basic instructions before leaving earth or something like that. I kind of feel that because every one of those messengers or prophets went through something that everyone's going to go through in life.
Yeah, grief,
period.
Temptation.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just that, like you and I right now, we could pull out a piece of paper. It'd be way easier for you and I to list everything different about us than it is for us to find common similarities. So it's easier to make profit. It's easier to make problems. It's easier to fuck when you separate people. Mm-hmm. So religion to me is no more than just language. We're all saying the same shit. It's just different language, you know?
I like that you brought up the messenger too, because depending on who the messenger
is,
you might not.
Went way off.
You're good. You're good. I get off on tangents too. I do got a question for you.
Yep.
You know, we brought up Jesus and at the beginning all the way to the end. What do you think the point of life is?
I was waiting for that one.
You wrote some shit?
Nah, I actually I screen recorded some from the video too. Now we're gonna touch on that.
Okay.
But I'm gonna remember your answer. I just want to play this real quick.
Okay. So he's looking through his phone right now,
yeah,
and he's gonna pull up a video from a previous episode that he might have some statements on.
I better have it.
I really hope that y'all are enjoying this episode. That's what this show is all about, giving people a platform to express themselves. Yep. And I really hope y'all going to jump in on this conversation as well, because this is a deep brother up here.
I think Jesus Christ was a real walking being. You know what I mean? I believe that. Absolutely.
This is your episode, right?
Yeah.
How they did God's son. They did him dirty. And I'm up here talking shit. Imagine what they do to my little black ass.
Hold on.
This nigga came down here talking about I'm God's son.
All right, right there. Just to clarify,
okay,
my man's never came down saying he was anything.
Okay.
He came down, and his only title he actually gave himself was he's the son of man. He never claimed to be the son of anything. And actually, when he was in the garden, right before he was betrayed, he went to the garden, I think it's Gethsemane or something like that. He went to the garden. He actually prayed. He actually prayed to his heavenly Father, to his Lord, to his God, and he asked, he said, if it's your will, let this cup pass from me. So if I came to this earth and I understood that I was here to die, why would I be crying about it and asking my Lord to take this responsibility from me? You wouldn't. You wouldn't.
Mhm.
So what I'm saying is, on the day of judgment, I don't want. I know I'm gonna walk up I'm gonna walk up to wherever I'm walking up to, and they're gonna question me about my life. I don't want Jesus to look at me and me have all the love and adoration I have for him, and I don't want Jesus to look at me and say, "Get away from me. I don't know you. You didn't listen to me. You didn't follow my teachings. I don't know you. Get away from me." All because I worship him as the God instead of
Something higher.
what he truly was trying to express. Was like, yo, yous have to repent, yous have to get right because the kingdom of God is coming. Now, I'm really not no religious dude. I'm a sinner, bruh. I'm a sinner, and I'm probably gonna sin again. But my thing is, you said you're 27.
27.
I don't want a young brother like you to be faced with that type of shit on your day of judgment and have all that blasphemous shit that you said come back on you.
I appreciate you bringing that up here.
You know what I mean? And I say that because you're black.
Mm-hmm.
You're chosen. Chosen. And as young black men raising young men and raising men,
Mm-hmm.
like, look at what they've already done. You ask your kids right now, how old are your sons?
I got one that's 2 and one that's 8.
Ask your sons what a Black Panther is. They're going to tell you, Wakanda forever.
Probably.
What's a real Black Panther, bro?
It's
We know what they are.
Yeah.
But think about what they no.
Jaguars.
No.
They are jaguars. They come
Oh
from the
my God.
Panthera family. They're
A
jaguars.
Black Panther is
Are you talking about
is a revolutionary
Oh.
militant soldier.
I thought you were talking about in a literal form.
But that's my thing, though.
Okay.
They've wiped out our culture, our history with one movie. So I say that I say all this and to piggyback on my conversation about Jesus is because don't let this world tell you something that's really not true.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus had to walk this earth because there's so many different versions of him. Your homegirl spoke on Horus. That's like an original story of Jesus. Hercules, Superman, countless other stories of men that were handpicked and sent to this earth to bring separation, not to bring peace and harmony. Jesus wasn't, I don't believe Jesus came here, and this is written, look it up. He didn't come here, he came here to bring a sword. Came with a sword to bring separation. He didn't come here to bring peace. Jesus heard that they were gambling in his father's house in the churches and all that. The Pharisees, which are Jewish, he heard that about the corruption and the way that they were running the temples. He flipped shit, went down there, and it's written that he was whipping people. So this is someone that they want to promote as all peaceful and pious and perfect, when this man was indeed a man, just like the rest of us, made mistakes. You mean to tell me this boy found himself in the desert or in the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights because he was happy?
Nah.
Think about it. You don't disappear and go off the Richter scale. Excuse me. You don't just go off the grid. What is it? Off the grid. Excuse me. You don't just go off the grid because you're happy.
You got some shit to work out.
You got some shit to work out. So when people ask me, "Oh, what happened?" People will see me in my job and they're like, "Oh, you don't paint anymore?" Like, that doesn't break my fucking heart. Like, no, I gotta pay bills, motherfucker. But what I'm saying is this world has a habit of destroying belief and destroying anything it doesn't understand until you'll find yourself in the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights, come back to your town, and you're not even a prophet. You're not even important to the place you came from, all because you stopped to take the second to find out who you really were and then come back and tell everyone of the glorious things you found. So Jesus took 40 days and 40 nights fasting in the wilderness, decided to not give in to his lesser self, got strong with his prayer life, ended up meeting John the Baptist in the wilderness, getting baptized. So if you came here, if you're the second coming of Adam, you came here with all the knowledge of the world, why do you got to get baptized?
Because he's human.
That's my point, though.
Right.
That's my point, though. Any glorious God that rescued Elijah and carried him to heaven on a chariot of fire isn't going to let himself be beaten and brutalized by the same motherfuckers he created. Now, you, as a rapper or a painter or whatever you want, whatever we are, would you let one of your rap songs come and whoop your ass?
Hell no.
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
Right. But I think from my beliefs is when we come here and we choose to live this physical existence, once we are born, we forget who we truly are, which is why we spend our entire lives trying to find out who the fuck it is inside.
Now imagine the nation.
I think to myself.
Now imagine.
I think to myself.
Now imagine the nation of kids who only look to themselves. Imagine the nation of kids who were taught that you don't have to go to. You go to the religious books for inspiration and to because you like poetry. Mm-hmm. Go to those inspiring books because you need a picker-upper that man isn't qualified to give you. But imagine a nation of kids who don't have to go to church to feel saved. Imagine a nation of kids who come up with their own rules, stop asking questions to people who didn't figure it out before. Mm-hmm. Imagine a nation of kids who stop looking at the painting, but recognize the painter and ask that, what do you want from me? They taking it all out, taking it out of the schools. It's a Luciferian business where they don't even want fathers in the household anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll pay you. They'll pay you as long as there's no man in the house.
You know what I mean? And it's I'm taking this as a first step to start what I believe is my ministry. All right? And what I'm pushing on people is the oneness of God. One God. No one God and many messengers. Find the one that's for you.
That resonates with you.
That gets you to the source. Mine happens to be Isa, Jesus. Islam, his name is Isa. And it's funny because in Islam, they honor God more, they honor Jesus more than the Christians do. In Islam, Jesus didn't get a petty death like that. You know what I mean? It's in the back of your Quran to tell you that he got away.
I was going to say that.
You know what I mean?
The one story that I heard that was probably the most that resonated with me was the one where somebody took him down from the cross and took him a certain number of miles away, and he ended up living his life out.
I personally believe he was never even up on the cross. Because it's like this.
I never understood how you kill a man with
someone that special. How do you get that close to him? No one was able to get close to him the whole time in the book. All of a sudden, they're just able to
pin him up.
And like I said, I'm not. Before we go any further, it's not my mission to convert anyone. It's not my mission to downplay anybody's belief or spiritual or religious aspirations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not my mission. My mission here is just to shake things up a little bit and ask the questions that I need answers to. If we know our purpose here, why would I be crying at the top of my lungs when it's time for me to fulfill my purpose if I knew that's what I was coming here for? I don't believe that person understood what they were coming here to meet. I don't believe that person knew just how evil his brother and sister could be. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But you need stories like that. Aristotle calls it the rhetoric. Aristotle's rhetoric is 4 principles of persuasion. Number 1 is ethos. Number 2 is logos. Number 3 is pathos. And number 4 is mythos. Logos is using logic, numbers, and truth to persuade your audience. So if I'm a professor, I'm using the numbers and the mathematical equations to prove my theories here. I'm showing you with numbers. I'm showing you with math. I'm showing you with logical, tangible evidence. So you can't refute this. It's education.
It's here. It's here.
Right?
You can see it.
Now, ethos, which is someone's credibility. If Jay-Z came to town right now and was giving a talk on how to make money, everyone would sign up because of that, because it's Jay-Z. His credibility makes it easy to persuade his audience, right? Pathos is using an emotional approach. You break somebody's heart, you get someone emotionally involved, you can get someone to do whatever the fuck you want them to do. You know what I'm saying? If you're doing a talk to, you're going to see a group of people, and you want to persuade them to turn their head to abortions and things like that, you'll open up with a story that gets them so emotionally riled up that they hate abortion at that point. Or if you want them to be pro, you'll tell them something that gets them so emotionally riled up that they will throw all their previous beliefs and inhibitions out the window because you emotionally approached them and you controlled their mind and you can persuade them. And then the last one is mythos, where you use like stories. You pass down stories to persuade your audience to move a certain way. So you'll tell stories of a football team that was down like 35 points, came back by halftime and beat and won the championship because you want your guys to dig deep and go a little harder the next quarter.
Right.
It's all, it's 4 principles of persuasion. The part that I've learned to understand in life is you got to learn the difference between manipulation and persuasion, right? I'm going to end with this, and you can ask me any questions, or we can.
Well, we're actually at the 60 minutes. I was actually going to. It looks like we might have to do this again.
It's all good, but peep, let me just get this one thing out, right? You got to know the difference between manipulation and persuasion. If someone's trying to manipulate you, they're going to use your feelings against you, meaning that they'll present you with a logical opportunity, a logical situation, but they'll get you to move emotionally, right? That's what they do. Niggas that gotta feed their kids and pay their rent, they'll talk to you about how, your kids are this, your kids are that. Let's go rob this bank. They use your emotional approach of the kids to throw all your logical sense out the window to make you go and hit that lick or go rob that bank because you've been manipulated. Now, if a person's trying to persuade you, they're going to use those emotions to get you to move logically. Like, yeah, you need to feed your kids, but you don't want to risk jail time, so we should probably go get this job. You understand the difference here?
Big difference.
All right, so boom. We're going to end it with that. I will be back to continue our talk or whatever.
Nah, you got to answer the question, though. You ain't answer the question.
Yeah, but purpose of life.
What's the point of life? What's the point of fucking being here, at least from your standpoint? I think it's to learn and love.
Short and sweet. I'm going to say to love, man. To learn from your mistakes and to love. Because you can't love if you haven't learned from your mistakes. You're just going to make another mistake.
So now I have one more question. I'm a backtrack it all the way to the beginning of the episode. Why feel shame?
Shame, for me, if I didn't feel any shame, I probably wouldn't have any of God's mercy bestowed upon me. So my shame is for me. My shame is what I use to push me to never hurt anyone or anything that has life again. So shame is like a controller, it's a handler for me. My shame reminds me like, yo, you could be shitty, but why be shitty? Without my shame, I wouldn't have any evidence for the grace and mercy of God.
I like the answer.
Word.
I like it. We're definitely gonna have to do this again.
Yeah, for sure. Man.
I definitely want to do it again. I'm pretty sure. I think this episode is. I think the people are gonna love you after this. Listen, this is a great first step. You know what I mean? And I definitely appreciate you bringing that up here.
Oh, yeah, word.
Because I tell everybody all the time when I do these podcasts, these are conversational based. If you hear me saying some shit that don't sound right, or you got some shit that you agree with, bring it up. You know what I mean? I'm okay with it being wrong. I'm okay with being wrong.
And I only brought that to, so like I said, I just want you to protect yourself, because there are, even with Shorty, I can see I'm sitting in the seat that she was in. I really didn't want to do that. But I'm protected no matter what. You know, it's just there's a fine line where man tries to be God, and there's gonna come a time where we're gonna have to answer for this stuff that we said.
That makes
sense.
sense.
That's real.
I got you.
I mean?
Hey, yo, thank y'all
And
for
yo,
showing.
sorry,
oh,
one more thing.
you're
If you freeze water 10 times, 10 times out of 10 times it's gonna turn to ice. That's a design. That's a system, right? Systems are designed. So there's ultimately a designer or a creator. Shit don't just happen. Perfect things like that don't just happen, man. So get right with your God, man, and stop all the coon shit, man.
Me and my wife, we was in Virginia. Well, me, my wife, and my kids. We went out to Virginia Beach, and we were just staring off the balcony, and we're like, "Yo, who made this?" Simple as like who made this? Because the way the waves only go up a certain amount, you got all this space. You know what I mean? The sand feels the way the
Allahu
sand
Akbar.
feels. You know, so that just something for y'all to think about. Thank you. I appreciate you coming up here. You know what I mean? We're definitely gonna have him back up here, but. Thank y'all for showing up. If this is the first time you're here, I hope y'all spin the block. If you're back, thank you again. And yo, shoot for the moon. And if you miss, you're still amongst the stars. Peace.
I've been on my grind just to live it out. Say what's on your mind just to hear it loud. Everybody knows me, really that's the old me. Going through some changes right here and now.